Hello there YouTube, and welcome back to War Thunder, guys. So as you could probably tell from today's thumbnail, today's video is going to be a bit of a comparison video. We're going to be comparing the T26E1 and the T34 from the American heavy tank line in the tech tree. Now obviously both tanks have their pros and their cons. A lot of players have their own opinions on which is better. Personally, myself, I prefer the T34 simply because it's slightly more maneuverable. It's faster. Even though it says 21.8, it is faster than the T26E1 at 25 miles an hour, because I've never seen this at 25. Mind you, I don't have this spaded. I'll show you where I am on the modifications. This is where I am on the modifications for the T26, and the T34 only slightly further along. So there you go. It's still faster though. It's still faster. So we're going to start with the T26. Basically, this has a test vehicle status. It wasn't mass produced. There was only a handful of these, if that. It was all this extra armor was taken off of destroyed Panthers and basically slapped on to the M26's chassis. As you can see, if we look at it, it really dips down at the front because of the weight of this extra armor. The arse end of this tank is literally in the air. So quickly switching to the armor values, because we want to see the armor. So as you'll see here, we have this plate here. This is the first plate. Then we have a gap, it showing another plate of armor, and then underneath that we have the actual front hull of the original M26. Now this should, it basically is like 3 layers of armor. It should work as spaced armor, but in my experience it very rarely does. It lets the tank down because it's not been modeled correctly. Again, on the gun mantlet here we have this extra plate of armor, and then you have a slight air gap, and then you have the actual mantlet for the tank, and then underneath that you've got more armor, and then underneath that there's even more. So this should be about 300 millimeters of armor, at least 300 millimeters of armor. But again, some shots will bounce. Majority, in my experience, will tend to go through, but you can bounce quite a few shells with this. The downside to having all this extra armor on the front is it slows this tank down so much. As I say, you will never see 25. Even with this spaded, Fraser's he's spaded, he rarely gets above 22. Even on maps like Abandoned Factory, it's a very hard vehicle to get going and keep it going at a decent speed. Looking at the ammunition, we have the T34 shot, which has some decent penetration, and since the solid AP shells have been buffed, they are slightly better at post penetration effects, so they tend to do more damage when they hit the tank and go through and explode in the cabin, or crew compartment I should say, not cabin, it's not a fucking plane. Then we have the M82 shot, which is obviously your for most tanks your default M82 shot, which again pretty decent. You've got some decent armor penetration, and the post penetration effects are pretty decent with the M82 shell. On to the T34, we have around about the same amount of upper glacis armor than like that we have on the T26, without the extra armor, that is, at 102 millimeters. Tend to bounce more. You do have the extra armor, or say armor, we have some tracks on the front which do help out, but as a rule most people will go for this weak lower glacis. However, you can protect against that, that's why I put bushes on it. But if someone connects with that, if you show it to them, they will be able to ammo rack you quite easily. You also have weak points on here. I think they fixed the weak point here. It's not as easy to hit it anymore, but it is still a weak point. You still will and can be penned through this mantlet. The cheeks of the tank as well can be penned and will be penned. They don't have that much armor. However, this tank has, in my experience, more durability against being shot. Now you will get penned easily if someone's firing heat FS at you. You don't stand a chance with your tank. When it comes to armor piercing ballistic cap, or APCR and APDS. Well, it depends what's actually shooting at you, and hopefully it will bounce off. But we're going to go into some games, we're going to show the tanks, and then I'm going to come back and just have a quick chat with you before I wrap up the video, guys. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's gameplay. I would have waited, but that M26 drove on. That was his first game in his M56. Someone's down there shot at me, but he dropped the smoke before I fucking shoot back. Gonna move up to that corner in front. Oh. Fuck you. Stupid Panther 2. That fucking bounced off of him. Oh, it's a fucking Jag Tiger. Jesus. Driver and transmission. Ah, driver, gunner, loader. And I just got hit by a fucking bomb. If I can't reload before he fucking fires, I'm screwed. But I did kill his loader, so we have to start loading again. Got him. Oh, there's something else behind him as well. Panther. Didn't like that. Ooh, I don't know, going around these corners. Are you right? Oh yeah, because you was in a heavy, weren't you? You know, I keep forgetting that's a heavy.
It shouldn't be a heavy.
No, I mean it is just a sort of upgraded M26, ain't it? I'm sure it wasn't classed. I don't know though, to be quite honest. The Americans have got slightly different designations of tanks than we do. Yeah, they did, didn't they? Where's that fucking guy gone? Oh, there he is. Yeah. Yeah, this is really sort of an outdated sort of tank, isn't it? But even before it was built, it was outdated, you know, considering what the Germans were working on, we were working on in Britain and other nations, and they're kind of sticking to this big heavy tank. I think it was more because the Russians were doing it, and you know, they probably thought, oh, do you know what, it's probably a good idea, you know, a big heavy tank to counteract one of their big heavy tanks.
It's sort of like a French design where you build a massive tank and put an enormous turret with a big one. See
Yeah.
that way. I remember reading about when Germans attacked France and how easy the field guns were taken out, then they laughed at the turret.
Yeah. They were outdated. Yeah, they were just so outdated.
Big, slow, giant profile.
Yeah. It's a very reminiscent design of World War I, isn't it? You know, very long to go over trenches and things like that. But after the First World War, the last thing on, especially the German high command's fucking mind was trench warfare again, because it was so costly. You know, for all involved. It weren't just the Germans. Everyone suffered at that, and they just didn't want to go through another trench war like that. It would have been devastating. And it never got anyone anywhere anyway, not really, not in the long run. Oh, hang on, I've got something down here.
Siege castles in one area.
Yeah. He's shooting from behind though. Didn't see the shot. Oh, there's one, there's one. Oh, where's he gone? Where's he gone? Oh, I see him, I see him. Yeah, he's clocked me as well. Come on, come on, come on. Perfect. No, not quite. Oh, son of a bitch. Ah, oh, damn it. Bad shot. Oh, excuse me.
Have you seen the Bomb Run latest video?
I haven't, mate, no.
He's basically having a go at R2 Squire and
Really? Why?
I don't know. Sort of retaliating toward
That's only having a laugh and a joke though when Squire does that, you know, it's just, it's comedy. You know? Jesus, I never take it that serious. I mean, bloody Mike Goes Boom does it. Yeah, Mike Goes Boom does it. I mean, he's not German, but he is a fan of the German vehicles and stuff, so Jesus Christ. What the fuck? Who the fuck shot me? Well, he was behind me shooting, but it couldn't have been him. What are you doing? No, that's my little hidey spot. Get out of the way. You sit on the other side of me, you numpty. I'm bigger than you. Do as I say. Oh, look at him try and push me, that's cute. Ooh, mind my bum bum. Not without dinner first, I like to be wined and dined. I'm an old romantic, I want flowers. I want a nice bottle of wine. At least 2 tubs of KY jelly. I'm not going to go right to their spawn. I'm actually going to drive across towards where C is slightly. And then he's left. Oh, one guy left. I think he's in the air. Yep, always one guy. It should bleed out quicker if they're not in a tank. It really should bleed out quicker if they are not in a tank. This is Grand RB after all.
To be honest, I think this is one of the main reasons.
Ah, he was in a tank. Someone's got him. Yeah. Oh, he was in a tank. Oh, no, I'm being strafed by friendlies. That's what it was then. It hit me. I think. I don't know. It really wasn't paying that much attention to it. Yeah, I was in a game just before he popped on. There was one guy left in the air, obviously, and 10 minutes later, you know, still fucking sat there because he didn't want to J out, land on the airfield and J out, even though it wouldn't like cost him any repairs or anything. Just silly.
Our entire team were parked up a perimeter of their school room. There was one person left, and we just barrel rolling with the smoke on for nearly 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
That was just so...
I mean, the T34 is a much larger tank, much heavier tank, and yet it's got an engine comparable with its size, so obviously that larger engine gets it around not that much quicker, but at a much quicker rate. You know, there's not a massive difference in top speed, but in acceleration and handling, the differences are miles apart. Really are.
This tank was never meant for this armor, was it?
No, it wasn't, no. It was just an idea, you know, of giving it a bit more protection. It wasn't even meant for this gun, that's why it's got those big springs on it. It's because of the recoil of it. Yeah.
Said like, even from like the M16 ride, the M14 ride, F104 fucking Thunderbolt fucking
There's going to be a kill. Set him on fire 3 times. There's no way he's coming back from that. Yep. Straight through, killed 2 crew and he just drove off. Can't even see him. Oh, fucking hell.
Same again, 3 shells that bounced off his fucking weak point. Fucking working against that fucking... Not sure what it was maybe after that 10 or something. 2,000 to 2,000, so he still survived.
Yeah. Jesus, come on, fucking hell. Just got onto the cat. Considering how close I was as well, it just takes so long to get anywhere with this. Right, and we've still got 2 guys left as well. No.
More interesting if the advertising what new game moves are putting in, what new
Yeah.
Gonna give my boat to Mom.
Oh my god, it ricocheted off of a fucking T34. Vickers got him. I can't believe that I hit him with a fucking armor piercing shell and it fucking bounced off of his fucking upper glacis where the driver's hatch is.
The second one, without needing to adjust the distance, right next to each other and stuff. Shots looked up the scene.
Okay then guys, welcome back to the hangar. As you see, the first bit of gameplay with the T34 was for the most part unedited because it was such a simple, straightforward game for me in the tank. You don't really fear too much with the T34. It is for the most part a very sturdy, resilient tank and can take a lot of punishment before it gives in. As you see with the T26E1, the gameplay was heavily edited. I had to take out a lot of travel time because I tend to want to sit back with a T26. I had to edit out quite a lot of the wait time, waiting for potential targets to come along, and I was just sat there for a very long time. As you can see, by the end of the video I was getting a bit quiet simply because the game had gone on for so long. It was almost a 30-minute game because the enemy team didn't want to give in and just sitting there doing nothing. And then when I eventually did move, got a few kills, but as you see with that T34, the cannon on this tank isn't necessarily 100%. I mean, if I had taken that shot 10 times maybe, I might have got 10 different results. You know what War Thunders are like, guys. You can take the same shot 10 times in a row without moving your crosshairs and get 10 different results. It's one of those things, you just can't sort of predict what's going to happen. But the thing that really puts me off of this tank, it isn't the reload, it isn't the gun, it isn't the ammunition, it's the armor and the maneuverability of it. If it was slightly faster, which it can't be because of that extra armor, and it had the correct armor values, it actually worked as spaced armor, then I would consider using this a hell of a lot more. As you can see here, you've got a massive weak spot where this has been cut open to give the hole mounted machine gunner access to shoot. So that leaves a massive weak spot in the front of the tank. But then again, even when people shoot you over here or under here or over here, it still tends to go through. My choice whenever taking out a 6.7 heavy tank for the Americans is either going to be the T29 or the T34. They're just, in my opinion, better tanks, but I'd love to hear what you guys think about both tanks. Always open to discussion, and I like to hear your experiences with both tanks. So guys, if you are new to the channel and you have enjoyed today's gameplay, please feel free to subscribe if you're new and you haven't already. Also guys, if you do subscribe, don't forget to hit the notification bell for updates on future content. Also, a thumbs up is appreciated, it does help the channel out quite a lot. And until next time guys, I will see you soon and have fun.